Welcome back to CAD 200. And in this week's lesson, we are going to take those we worked with PDFs last time. You converted drawing into PDFs. We're going to actually take this time, and in this specific project, I'm going to show you how to convert that PDF back into a drawing. We're also going to talk a little bit about converting images, pictures, and things like that, like a JPEG. I want to show you some tricks on that as well inside of this lesson. So first things first, I want to show you guys the difference between a raster and a vector file. Now, PDFs 99 probably percent of the time are going to be a vector file, which is the file that's made up of lines, arcs, curves, and things like that, just like this is. A raster file, on the other hand, is made up of pixels. So if I zoom back on that, it would look really good, but the closer I get, you can see the pixel, how it's pixelated. And it's a little bit harder to get converted into a drawing as opposed to a vector file. And it will take an extra tool inside of AutoCAD to do that, and it's the raster tools that you can get and add into your AutoCAD file. So we're going to start out with a PDF. I've got a schematic of a hydraulic system, and I've got the PDF, and you guys have the PDF. You're going to do this exact same one, and I'll show you what you do. You just go to Insert, and when you get in here, you got a PDF import. You see right here? But before we do that, I want to do an XREF, just like you've done before, and I want to bring in the PDF that we're going to use, okay? We'll use this electrical schematic one. That'll be fine. We'll use that, hit open. And if I hit OK on that, pick a point. See how when I bring this in here and I click on it, there's a few tools that you guys remember using. You can hide and show right there. In old times, I'd have to come in here and go home, set myself up a layer, and go in here, and I would literally just trace this in. Wasn't very accurate, okay? But with the new tools today, we can do other things. And there are some tools in this PDF underlay that you can use, but it's nothing like what we're going to do. If I hit Insert now, I can import this PDF. And I can tell it I want to start right there. Well, let's go in here. Let's import it. I want to bring the same one in. Electrical schematic 1, open. And when I come in here, PDF data import, I want the vector geometry, solid infills, use the PDF layers, that's fine. Join lines and arc segment, convert solid fields to hatches, that's a really important one. Apply line weight properties, yes. So I can hit OK on this one. And what it did, it put them in the same location. So I'm just going to grab one, move it out of the way just so I can have one to look off of. Okay. But notice, this is my XREF. Now notice this one I brought in with my PDF and converted it. See how it made it into actual objects and lines? So I've converted that into a drawing I can use. That's pretty sweet, isn't it? So, before I'd had went through here and had to went and traced over it, which is, the accuracy's not that great with it. I mean, it's going to be close, but this one's dead on because that's exactly what it should be. The only problem that you have, folks, when you convert these from a PDF to a drawing is this. If I zoom in, you notice the hatch didn't turn out too good. Okay? So what you'd have to do is come in here, click on the hatch, right click, and I want to go to properties. I want to see what's going on with this. It converted the hatch but didn't do great. I can see right off the bat that my transparency is 50. You see how it's a little bit light? If I put 0 transparency, that's what I want. You all see that? And I can match properties with that transparency and click on all of these down through here and make them what I want. That's the only thing. I mean, it does. You do have to get in there and do a little work, but it's so much easier than having to start from scratch and have to go through there and sketch the whole thing by hand. So guys, this is what I want you to do. You make sure you go through there and get everything, because if your company's wanting you to do this, you want it right. You want everything to look good. So go through there, match that property, get those all put in accurately. It will take just a few minutes, and then we have one more thing we got to do. Do you notice that when I zoom in here, that this hatch isn't filling that up? What you'll have to do is go in there and delete that out and come in here and put you a new hatch in. And fix those points. There's just a few of them, but it doesn't, that's one of the faults that it does have. It doesn't pick up hatches exactly right. See how it's missing the point? So just delete those out very simply and easily. You guys go in there, make it an appropriate layer. Go in there and make yourself a new layer. And you've got your PDF, all these different things in PDF that it brought in. I always make myself a new layer. I'll call it points. And that's totally fine. Just make sure that you know all of your points from this point forward. And I've got my properties here. You could right click on it once you've highlighted it. And you can change your layer. It's on layer 0. I want it to be points. Okay, make sure all those are points and arrows. You might make you an arrow layer as well and put arrow or whatever this layer right here is, PDF 3. That's what I would make that hatch, so it all be together. That way in your PDF or in your drawing you can turn them on and off wherever you need to. Keep them all together makes it so much easier. So basically we've got that. I want to go ahead and delete off the PDF we brought in through an XREF. And I'll XREF it again just to make sure it's gone. It is not gone, so I'll right click and I detach it so it's gone. Okay. Now here is this, and still got, you guys need to go ahead and finish up all the points on it. But another thing is I want to scale this thing accurately. Now from this point to this point should be 5 inches. So I hit line, and it's 2.7236. Also another thing, when you have a PDF or anything like that, I put a line across just to make sure it's flat. that it's not on an angle. This one is perfectly flat. If it's on an angle, you have to figure out what that angle is, and then you can do a rotate and rotate it back in. This one seems fine, but we've got to scale it up. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to go to my calculator real quick, and I want this to be 5 inches, right? 5 divided by 2. You take what you want, divide it by what you got. 2.7236. There's my scale factor. Okay? So all you got to do now is go to scale, grab the entire thing. Base point right there is fine. And then I just type in what that is. 1.8358. 1.8358, right? Enter. And 4.999999, that's closest to 5 you're going to get, right? So I think we're good shape at that point. And I could always just fix my units on my dimensioning to make them, because I mean that's going to the 10,000ths, right? And of course you guys can go in there and modify primary units, precision, 3 decimal places would be fine. And that looks pretty good. So that's the first one I want you guys to do, and get that done for me. And then also we're going to have another drawing we're going to bring in as an image. So hold tight and we'll get there just in a little bit, but get this one finished. If you need help, let me know.